Finally, a base of our own. Soon we'll have eyes on every corner of the system. Well done, Captain.
¿Tienes más trabajo para mí?
First, I need to get something off my chest. Aside from the automated security, did you meet any resistance at the station?
Era un encargo fácil, no hubo sorpresas.
Why would they leave an asset like that unprotected? Unless... Could the station be a trap? Unlikely. But possibly. One more thing to consider. I've been less than honest with you. Your assignments weren't strictly about the salvage business. You might have figured that out already.
Lo del gas poco común y el laboratorio que lo probaba en seres humanos no puede haber sido una coincidencia.
You have an eye for patterns. Good. We need more contractors like you. After the Monarch job, I started connecting the dots. I didn't like the picture. Then what we found at Station 1084 confirmed my fears. You and I have stumbled onto something big. Something none of us were meant to know.
La verdad sobre el coxis humano.
I'm thinking more along the lines of the sapient species paradox. Ask yourself why a skeleton crew was studying that Alta Vitae gas in secret. Ask yourself why stockpiles were hidden on a planet full of monsters.
La paradoja de las especies avanzadas. ¿Crees que esto está relacionado con el descubrimiento de vida inteligente?
Wrong. I think it's about intelligent life discovering us. Aliens. I'm talking about aliens. They're the ones responsible for the deaths at 1084, and who knows what else. We have to put a stop to it.
¿Alienígenas?
Hear me out. I'm saying it's aliens. I'm not asking you to like it. I'm not even asking you to believe it. But I need to act on this threat to the colony, and I can't do it alone.
Captain, in my humble assessment, Ms. Hagen is insane.
Pero no lo digas así, adelante de ella.
The crew is skeptical. That's good. I don't want you walking into the unknown with blindfolds on. I assume you have questions?
Unas cuantas.
If we're gonna see this through, I'll need your trust and commitment. Now's the time for setting doubts aside.
Cuando dices alienígenas, ¿a qué te refieres exactamente?
Conspiracy. One carried out with the help of human collaborators, assuming they haven't all been replaced. This is an invasion of our very cells. That damned gas is mixing our nucleon with halcyon biology to twist us, change us, make us more like those monsters on Monarch.
No he visto ninguna prueba de la presencia de alienígenas.
No kidding. That's how they want it. When I lined up the evidence,
exceptuando los gorilas espaciales, los mantisaurios, las mantirreinas, las mantiorugas, los pterorrayos. ¿Cómo sabes que no soy un espía alienígena en una misión para silenciarte?
Sharing my findings took a calculated risk. If you were a spy, I doubt you'd even realize it. Only your cells would know.
Vaya, qué tranquilidad me da eso.
Probably nothing to worry about, as long as you don't start growing tentacles or slowing down time.
Basta, dime qué hay que hacer.
Dr. Chartrand is the crooked psychopath behind the gas experiments. She sold out her species, and I need you to put a bullet through her skull.
Un poco de charla trivial antes. ¿Por qué debe morir la doctora Chartrand?
She's a research scientist and a damn good one. Before UDL poached her, she engineered a 0.2% increase in cystipig juiciness. Now she's doing the same thing with humanity. Her fingerprints were all over Station 1084. You saw what she did to her team.
¿Desde cuándo Sublight tiene principios?
It's cute that you'd think that about me. I just want to add savior of humanity to my resume. I've got ambitions outside of this office, you know. Besides, this way Sublight gets first dibs on alien salvage.
Los laboratorios que vi no tenían un aspecto tan maligno.
Do you usually come across innocent people trapped in suspension tanks? Because some of us would call that excessive. Remember, the tanks were just the shit she left behind. Just imagine the experiments she carted off to her next lab.
¿Dónde encaja Chartrand en tu teoría de conspiración alienígena?
We're far beyond theories. Chartrand's logs, the gas, the suspension tanks. How much proof do you need? Wake up, Captain. An invasion needs collaborators working from the shadows. She has access to the board, unlimited funds, and a colony full of sheep.
Parece un asunto sucio, pero acepto el trabajo.
This keycard will get you through the front door of her Byzantium estate. Don't ask how I got it. You might not like the answer. By now, the other side knows what you're doing. Don't trust anything Chartrand says. She's compromised down to the bone. Maybe even deeper than that.
Islas flotantes. Y ahora me vas a decir que hay un equidna que le dicen nudillos. Y que todo esto lo mantiene a flote la Esmeralda Maestra. Que ya estamos haciendo un crossover. Subí de nivel nada más por llegar acá. Increíble. Bueno.
Watch out. This place is half sublight thugs and half top rungers on vacation. Both are dangerous.
Estás acá por tus habilidades de ciencia, Ellie. No por tu carisma.
Hello there. Hope your atmospheric entry wasn't too troublesome. As a guest of honor, you deserve the best in comfort.
¿Qué te pasó en la piel?
Salvage and Shipping Underground, or Slug, as we like to call ourselves, is delighted to welcome you to Eridanos. I'm the Grand Colonial Head Bellhop. I'm here to grab your bags and direct you, the inspector, to the Grand Ballroom, which was the scene of the crime.
Ok, bien. ¿Cómo están los ánimos en el hotel? ¿Os ha afectado mucho?
I'll say. There's nary a soul here who wasn't a fan of hers in some respect. Just about everybody's shocked. Some people are inconsolable. Hell, even Black Hole Birdie, Helen's beau, has wandered off. Some folks think he had something to do with the murder, but I don't believe it.
The fans were very upset by the weak plot contrivances in her latest offering, though that hardly seems a worthy motive.
We should ask if they're comping the minibar. This might take a while, if you get me.
Folks get heated when it comes to serials and their actors, I suppose.
¿Era una figura controvertida?
Not particularly. But I think some folks were jealous of her success, or otherwise viewed her as a threat. Reckon how she came about her fame didn't help.
¿Por qué se hizo tan famosa?
Why, she was a natural. People fell in love with her. She managed to wrangle up a following all on her own. She ended up about as famous and high-runged as your average VP, which rubbed a lot of Byzantines the wrong way. Actors ain't supposed to get preferential treatment. I imagine the admin briefed you about Helen's part in the Spectrum Brown unveiling. Too bad about the postponement. Not so terrible as Helen's murder, but still a crying shame.
¿Tan importante era la presentación?
You bet it was. Rizzo's rented out the ballroom in the hotel just for the launch event. Reckoned it was gonna be a real swell affair. Rizzo's ain't unveiled the product since the debut of Spectrum Ultraviolet. Invisible to the naked eye, and as it happened, prone to causing massive internal bleeding. Anyway, I think I've held you up long enough. Once you're ready, head down to the lobby. The ballroom is just behind the elevators. Meanwhile, I'll grab your bags.
¿Equipaje? ¿Qué equipaje?
You're
Tengo todo
making
encima.
fun, right? Your luggage, your belongings, kit, wherever you
No
keep
sé
what
dónde
you
me
ain't
meto
wearing.
todas estas adrenas.
You're still giving me a pretty blank look. Suppose it's none of my business, but do you just wear the same set of clothes all the time?
Es mi outfit predeterminado. Pues claro, ¿tú no?
Well,
¿Cuánto te
reckon
pagan a
I
vos
can
por usar
respect your
ese
candor,
sombrerito?
even if it scares me a smidge. Anyhow, I'll look for you in the grand ballroom later. Hope you can unravel this mystery, Inspector.
Esperemos. Misión de investigación, ¿eh? No se me dan muy bien estas. La verdad es que no soy inspector. Es toda una tapadera para meterme acá. En fin. Debería empezar a... No, eso lo voy a dejar para después. Cuando no haya tantos ojos curiosos. Vamos a mezclarnos un poco con la gente. ¿Dónde va esto? Ah, no, mira. No se considera robo, qué raro. ¿Los cigarrillos tampoco? Ah, bueno, bien. ¿Dónde va esto? ¿Dónde estamos? Qué elegancia.
Greetings, Inspector. No need to check in here. Your paperwork has all been processed. You should be able to find the Colonial right ahead.
¿Quieres hablar?
Oh,
No.
you're the inspector.
Ah, mira, yo también tengo uno de estos.
Has anyone helped you with your luggage yet?
¿Puedo leer esto? Ay, el efecto de iluminación es tan molesto. Ah, otra manera de entrar. Sellado.
Thanks for the understanding.
¿Alguno tiene nombre? Huésped. Operario de Slack, pero tienen la misma ropa que los de Sublight. Operario de Slack. Eso tampoco es robo, pero estoy... Bueno. Las reglas en Eridano son diferentes.
Fancy place.
El robo no existe.
I hope they're not expecting us to pay.
No pasa nada. Tengo bits de sobra. Ah, esto sí es robo. No, lo que hay acá. Todo sellado. Y por ahí, por el puentecito, vamos a otra zona de las islas flotantes. Es grande el lugar. Y visualmente considerablemente más interesante que la mierda esa de Monarca. Bueno. Esperemos que los enemigos sean un poquito más duros. Y con eso ya más o menos estamos encaminados para que sea llevadero esto. Oh, hongos de colores extraños. Probablemente alucinógenos. Puedo usar esto, contactar con Cedric. No hay respuesta. Probablemente tengo que hacer alguna misión antes para que haya respuesta. Acá no hay nada. Y ahí hay otra zona. Es esa luz que viene de los cielos. Zona de la piscina.
It's surprising this pool is the only thing in such a state around here, considering how the elite usually comport themselves.
The pool plaza is currently closed to guests.
¿Por qué? ¿Qué pasó? Hay poca agua, llénenla un poco más. Se metieron las ratrullas a la pileta. Bueno, ¿qué pasa acá?
Oh, you're that inspector, right? Sorry, but the pool's currently
Sos
closed
igualito al Capitán Harlow.
What can I do for you?
No sé, tú dime. ¿Por qué está la piscina toda verde?
Space me if I knew. I got here from my shift this morning and found it this way. They can't yell at me for this one, which is good, because a lot of folks seem upset by it.
Esta mañana, así que ha pasado justo antes del lanzamiento del Spectrovodka bombón.
Gee, you're pretty sharp. Yeah, the reception party would have extended out here, but we had to close it off. What with the contamination. And now the reception ain't happening anyway. Can't do much now but wait for the stench to wear off. We found the individual hired to clean face down in a puddle of his own spit in the orchards. Guess he won't be helping.
¿Con la cara metida en un charco de su propia saliva?
Look, I call it how I see it. They found the poor slackwit alongside syringes enough to put down a herd of mantisaurs. His family will have to be fine. Rizzo should have been more careful about who they hired. They're lucky nothing got permanently damaged.
Aquí hay algo que no me cuadra, me gustaría echar un vistazo.
All right. You may want to visit the sun parlor. That's where that Rizzo's fool mixed the chemicals he used. Oh, and you can talk to Lily, my boss. She probably has some great advice. I saw her walk toward the bridge to the Purpleberry Orchards earlier. Reckon she's still there. Now, anything else I can do for you?
Creo que no. Tengo algunas preguntas sobre la piscina.
So long as you don't want to go in, I can answer anything you like.
¿Dices que Rizzo contrató a alguien para la limpieza?
Yep, still dead. Usually Rizzo's is pretty good at making sure the people they hire ain't got tripicale for brains. But that fella clearly wasn't worth trusting. I met him briefly once. Seemed level-headed enough, but that must have been just a front. Otherwise, he wouldn't have made such a mess of things.
Vas bastante armado para estar vigilando una piscina, ¿no?
Yeah, it's part of the job. I think I'm listed as a security consultant. But all that really means is that if I'm caught without this thing, I get put on pool guard duty. I don't know what happens if I'm caught without it on pool guard duty, but I know that I don't want to find out.
Es todo por ahora.
Sounds good to me.
Me marcho. A ver qué pasó. Agua verde. ¿Ácido? No. No me está haciendo daño. Examinando. Un artilugio mecanoide propagador de sustancias químicas incrustado por encima del nivel del agua de la piscina. Alguien ha rayado una frase en la cubierta del filtro. Aquí estuvo Irion. Irion. ¿Y esto? Requiere producto químico para piscinas. ¿Alguna cosa más? A ver, marcame esta misión. Ahí. ¿Hay algo más? ¿Qué es esto? Agua de la piscina, sí. ¿Qué tiene? ¿Qué tiene de especial? ¿Quieres que tome un poco? No. No sé.
Hi again. It's like I just saw you. Pool's still closed, unfortunately.
Parece que pueden añadirse productos químicos al filtro de la piscina. Voy a intentar limpiarla.
All sounds right by me. It'll be nice to actually have guests to guard. Sinuses that work.
Ciencia 105. Ah, me faltan 3 nada más. Trato hecho. Cuanto antes pueda liberarme de esta peste, mejor.
Sorry, did you say something? I couldn't hear over the smell. Sound. What'd you say?
Me marcho. Otra vez. Ay, qué porquería. Es tu culpa, Ellie. No tenés suficientes habilidades de ciencia. Te puse toda ropa para hacer rajería. Es tu culpa. ¿Es esta mierda? ¿Y esto? A todos los huéspedes, la dirección solicita urgentemente a los huéspedes que dejen de utilizar el equipamiento de Tosbol en las pistas de knockout muerte súbita. Los huéspedes que utilicen la pista solo estarán protegidos ante muertes o desmembramientos producidos por las raquetas de knockout, no así por otro equipamiento. Cualquier hemorragia, daño cerebral o conmociones letales producidas por un mal uso del equipo de Tosbol conllevará sanciones considerables. En caso de que desee desesperadamente saciar sus ansias tosbolísticas, la dirección le recomienda visitar a los todoterrenos de Rizzo en la segunda planta VIP. Slug no se hace responsable de los fallecimientos de huéspedes por pólizas de los todoterrenos durante los entrenamientos. Acá no hay... Estoy buscando a una tal Lily. O... no me acuerdo el nombre. ¿Está por acá? Sigamos buscando Lily. No. Carajo, es grande el lugar. Eso es una fuente para los deseos. Ah, sí. No, no tiene agua. Qué ratones. Lily. No. El robot me puede ayudar, es un jardinero. Robot jardinero. Ok. Hay algo ahí. En esa edificación. ¿Qué está haciendo? Ah. Está cristalizando el pasto. ¿Puedo abrir esto? No sé. Nadie mira. Evan, recuerda, esta noche hay timba. Si no apareces te dejaré un regalito en forma de raptidón. Es broma, pero no lo olvides. ¿Me oyes? Necesito bajarle un poquito los humos a Bea. Me ha tenido toda una semana redactándome informes de campo. Edificio de operaciones botánicas. Timba, esta noche. ¿Eh? Ok. Seguimos sin poder acceder a ninguna de las otras islas. ¿Qué hay acá adentro? Salón de bronceado. ¿Y vos? Uy, no, baja el arma. Creo que ya di toda la vuelta, ¿no? A ver, por acá debe estar la nave. Como para hacerme una idea de dónde estamos parados. Ok. ¿Y qué tenemos acá? Phaeton Pilot House. Amelia Stilwell. No quiero hablar. Estoy buscando una tal Lele. Al carajo. Vamos a broncearnos. A ver. ¿Y esto? Depósito refrigerante, ¿eh? Y puedo robar todo de acá. Sin ningún temor a represalias. Eso me agrada. ¿Qué carajo es esto? Parece que Rizzo me ha encomendado una tarea bastante sencilla. Slug cuenta con un mezclador automático para limpiapiscinas. Siendo automático cabría pensar que no se puede controlar de forma manual, pero me alegro de que sí sea posible. Mezclar las sustancias químicas mediante el batido de cada depósito y utilizar la consola para generar un compuesto una vez obtenido la combinación deseada. No es que vayamos a fabricar un terraformador, pero por sencillas que parezcan las cosas la gente se sigue liando. Menos mal que ya llevo tiempo con esto. Productos químicos. Clorinosol rojo 1, ácido clorhídrico verde 2, oxigenador bomhídrico amarillo 3, colorante agua azul número 422 azul 4, antiespumante hidrogenado naranja 5. Resulta extraño almacenar todos estos productos químicos juntos. Algunos de ellos combinados dejarían la piscina más inservible que los pozos de azufre de Monarca. A lo mejor por eso han decidido acudir a un profesional. Bajo la entrada hay una nota con una letra distinta. Todo aquel mercenario oportunista que lea esto debería reunirse conmigo en el balcón del hotel. Tengo un negocio entre manos. No. ¿Qué? Blue Water. Clorinonsol. ¿Cuál era? Blue Water es el 4. No. Acá está, 4. Rojo 1. Sí. Y... antiespumante 5. Mierda. 5. ¿Así? Debe ser. Mezclar. Confirmar. Ok, bien. Y me quedo con esto por las molestias. Bueno, volvemos ahí a la pileta. ¿Quién sos vos?
I saw you meander on out of the pool and into the greenhouse. Now you're here. Does that mean what I think it means?
¿Qué crees tú que significa?
Might mean that you can be trusted. Might not. Guess we'll see.
¿Qué gano yo con todo esto?
More than a handful of bits.
¿Por qué quieres cargarte una piscina de hotel? No es un objetivo muy notable, que digamos.
Maybe not. Maybe I just want Rizzo's working relationship with Slug to implode for the benefit of Spacer's choice. But you're right. It ain't high profile. And it ain't gotta be. Any damage to Rizzo's is cause for celebration. You ain't gotta concern yourself with my spite. Consider me an average Byzantine, and I'll consider you an average contractor.
Entendido.
That's great to hear. Or grand, as the Byzantines are so fond of saying. Not that I ain't one. There's a chemical mixing machine in the greenhouse that has more than a few volatile chemicals. Mix them and render that pool unusable. Anything that ain't clean should do.
Eso.
Dump the mix into the pool.
Bueno, pero mirá el lado bueno, capaz que hice mal la combinación.
That'll get those damn bastards into some red water.
¿Por qué Rizzo?
They're getting a tad too cozy with your friendly neighborhood slugs. We don't want either gaining power on the board. Easier to do so if their alliance ain't so sweet anymore. Personally, I don't think we're going far enough. Rizzo's is all smiling gun hands and uppity scientists. Wouldn't mind bringing them down with some well-placed bullets, but if you're worried about this hurting your relationship with Slug, I wouldn't. The guard's thicker than the shit in that pool. Tell him you're with Rizzo's and he won't question it.
Estoy empezando a perder el hilo. ¿Quién va a sabotear la piscina, Rizzo o vosotros?
This here's a messy business, friend. And when it comes to messy businesses, the rule's always the same. Don't get too curious, whether it's about Saltuna additives or espionage. Spacer's choice didn't ruin anything. Rizzo's did. And ain't that a coincidence? But it's also gonna be Rizzo's that permanently puts that pool out of commission.
Ah, de acuerdo, vamos allá.
Dandy. Come on back once you've done your deed.
Ok. Ay, las piernitas. No puedo moverme. A ver. ¿Lo hice bien o lo hice mal? Creo que lo hice bien. Pero llénenla un poco más, no sean mierdas. Hecho.
Oh, thanks a million, Inspector. The smell cleared right up. Well, in a couple hours, the guests might even be back. Then I actually gotta start doing my job. Of course, we're not gonna get a follow-up shipment for the water anytime soon, so they'll have to content themselves on the deck.
Mojarse un
I
poquito
got a
los
little
pies.
something for making my job that much less miserable. It's the key to our storeroom. If my boss asks, you never met me.
¿Una llave? Creo que los dos sabemos que mi trabajo vale más que eso.
I guess I can spare a few bits. And, here, this pack of smokes. Sorry, they don't really load me up with the goods. I gotta get back to it if you don't mind, Inspector.
Ok. Me tengo que hablar con el otro idiota también. A ver qué me dice. Ay, Dios. ¿Seguís acá? Sí. Feliz de verme, me imagino.
Something must have gotten lost between you and me. I seem to recall asking you to acidify the pool, not to do Slug's work for them.
Lo que querías que hiciese está mal, así de claro.
Wrong? Is what Rizzo's wants any better? What about Slug? Are they right? Everyone's ambitions get in the way of everyone else's ambitions. It's how Halcyon works. Now, run along while I go back to my plotting.
Siga planeándose. ¿Y ahora qué? Uy. ¿Dónde está el almacén esa que me dijiste? Nada, no importa. Accede al Hotel Gran Colonial. ¿Qué decís, mujer? ¿Puerta principal?
The murder has inflicted severe emotional trauma on me. I demand a room upgrade.
Bueno, lo puedes despachar. Me puedes atender a mí. Conserje Halston.
I'm sorry, sir, but while the hotel is an active crime scene, I regret to inform you that all new bookings, room upgrades, room downgrades, and in-room massages are Oh, you're the special inspector. Mr. Kincannon warned me you'd be checking in soon.
¿Quién?
Why, you.
No, cierto.
While you're here, Inspector, could I set you up with a room?
Claro, ¿qué tienes?
For you, only the best, sir, of course.
La suite
You'll be staying
presidencial.
in our luxurious penthouse suite, vacated just recently. So recently that unfortunately the room's still being cleaned. I'm sure it'll be ready for you by the time you've examined the crime scene. I believe Constable Keene should be waiting for you in the grand ballroom.
No he visto el salón de baile mientras venía.
Oh, the ballroom's right behind the tower elevators. Swing a left or a right, then cut through the crowd of spectators. You can't miss it.
¿Puedo robar? A ver. ¿Qué tenés acá? Obtener llave del ático. Dame. Habitación no disponible todavía. ¿Y esta? ¿Está vigilando?
Why, hello there. Goodness, I always enjoy seeing guests, but it's been so long since I've chatted face to face that I about hopped out of my skin at the sight of you. Excuse me, I should introduce myself, though you might know me already, just not by name. I'm Bellhop Sullivan. You've likely heard my dulcet tones through the elevator intercom.
Todavía no lo utilicé. No reconozco tu voz, pero me alegro de conocerte en persona.
Oh, that's so nice of you to say. I'm glad to meet you too. Now that our introductions are out of the way, do let me know if I can help you with anything.
¿Me puedes dar mis llaves? ¿Sabes algo sobre el asesinato de Cayetana de Alción?
Unfortunately not. I was in the operator room for the elevator, as usual. The camera feed only allows me to see within the elevator, which always has many people coming through. For what it's worth, the murder was a right shame. I always enjoyed the serials starring Ms. Helen, though I did find them prone to repetitive plot structures. But I'm sure you've heard the rumor about what actually did her in. That marauders got into the hotel and management is covering it up so the guests don't run off.
Supongo que todos los botones os conocéis. ¿Algún cotilleo sobre Norville?
Oh yes, Norville's great. Always ready to help any and all guests who might need it. And so handsome, too. His judgment sometimes leaves something to be desired, I will say. Kept badgering Halcyon Helen prior to her death about an autograph or something. A little beyond his station.
¿Ya habías tenido problemas con los merodeadores en el Gran Colonial antes?
Well, not necessarily. But they're fairly prevalent on the other complexes. It wouldn't take much for them to find their way here. Slug claims they've got the problem under control, but I don't understand why they haven't simply gone and exterminated all of the marauders like the vermin they are. Oh, well, I'm just here to push buttons.
Dijiste que manejas el ascensor, ¿verdad? ¿Es que los huéspedes no pueden pulsar los botones ellos mismos?
Well, yes, but having an operator certifies that the right guests end up on the proper floors. We wouldn't want tossball players rubbing shoulders with CEOs. It'd be anarchy. Plus, there's always the risk a guest chips a nail or loses a ring on a button. It's an extra effort, but the Grand Colonial prides itself on personalized service in all things. That and the elevator still works if I'm ever not around. I do take occasional breaks and sleep every so often.
Adiós. ¿Algún otro botones que haya visto algo?
10 bits. This is all just some sort of publicity stunt. I did not read about this kind of...
Huésped. Botones. Sin nombre. Vos, Norville.
The crime scene's awaiting, Inspector. Can't believe something like this could happen in my hotel. When I found her, I was just hoping she had a little too much to drink, but All the grievous bodily injury adds up, I suppose.
¿Encontraste el cuerpo? ¿Por qué no me lo habías dicho?
You didn't ask. Anyway, I'm sure you've got questions.
¿Viste a Cayetana el día que murió?
Of course I did. I just told you I found the body. Oh, wait. You mean when she was still breathing? No, of course I didn't. Plus, it's untoward for an employee to speculate about the actions of a hotel guest. Not that I saw any hotel guests interacting with her.
Ambos sabemos que te mueres de ganas de cotillear.
Honestly, you're more than a little right. I've been burning at the britches to share my theories. Day of her death, I saw Helen leave the hotel premises with the profit of profitability, and didn't see her come back. A little on the suspicious side, I think. Seemed especially strange, seeing how, as far as I was aware, the two didn't get on.
¿Y esta tal profeta de la rentabilidad es una huésped?
Yep. Gives seminars on increasing profit margins and the like. Can't say much else, seeing how I ain't in the gossip market.
¿Por qué se llevaban mal Cayetana y la profeta?
Or as I can recall, Helen dismissed the lady's seminars in some kind of interview. Said her co-star used them, but she didn't. The top rungers are always ready to read between the lines of famous folks and seem to think the prophet was on her way out. Woman lost a ton of bits and is set to lose more.
Volviendo a mis otras preguntas.
I hope all that helped. I'd like to be as useful as I can in the investigation. I just didn't want to steer anyone the wrong way.
¿Me explicas cómo encontraste el cadáver?
Sure, I'd taken to checking the ballroom every few hours prior to the unveiling. Just to make sure no sprats had snuck into the place. You understand. Found her right before I was set to head back to my room in the lower levels for my mandated 5-hour sleep period. Tell ya, thank the law for caffeinoid. Been too upset to get a wink of sleep since. And hey, now I can finally see smells.
¿Mataste a Cayetana? ¿Me lo puedes decir? Sé guardar un secreto.
What? No! Just because I found the corpse doesn't mean I made her a corpse. I was in shift all day. Besides, I loved Helen serials. Well, the old ones anyway. The newer episodes are hot junk on a warm day.
Igual que pasa con los Simpson. ¿Qué crees que hacía Cayetana a esas horas en el salón de baile?
Beats all hell out of me. Maybe she was, practicing for the unveiling?
Volviendo a mis otras preguntas.
Sure. What's on your mind?
¿Sabes quién puede haberse cargado a Cayetana?
Everyone's got theories. I don't reckon mine hold much more weight than anyone else's.
Adiós. No tenemos nada concreto. Sobre esto no. Tarjeta de nivel A. Ahora acá. Puros huéspedes del hotel. A ver. Puede haber algo tirado en alguna parte. La puerta esta está cerrada, no. Podemos hacer la transición a Eridano cuando se nos antoje. Soy Cayetana de Alción y es para mí un verdadero honor dar la bienvenida a tantos huéspedes ricos e importantes a la presentación de leer lo siguiente con la debida pompa. Espectrovodka bombón de rizo. ¿Pensabais que el espectrovodka negro era el sumum de la calidad? Probad de nuevo. Vuestros paladares alcanzarán nuevas cotas con el magnífico espectrovodka bombón, con trazos de... A ver, aquí mete lo que quieras, pero que suene bien. Rizzo ha dedicado todos sus esfuerzos en dotar a su nueva bebida la máxima calidad posible. La variedad bombón también incorpora un ingrediente secreto especial, ausente en cualquier otro tipo de bebida. Cada refrescante sorbito te dejará más extasiado que el anterior. Puede que tenga algo que ver con... ¿Qué decimos aquí? Hay un gusano en la botella. Ese ligero toquecito del fondo de la botella. Gracias a todos por asistir a esta presentación y gracias a Rizzo por permitirme estar aquí hoy. Y recordar, si es bombón, mola mogollón.
Oh, thank the law.
La ley ha llegado.
You don't know how relieved I am to see you.
Sabes que en realidad no soy inspector. Gendarme Keane, encantado de conocerte. Hablamos por Teléter.
Constable Maria Keane. It's good to meet you in person, Inspector.
Dr. Goodnight. Ecstatic to make your various acquaintances and so on. Are we finished with the pleasantries? There's something I'm excited to show you.
¿Qué tienes para mí, doctora?
An extraordinary contraption. You'll love it.
Our coroner has developed a device which may prove useful in your investigation. Our office has instructed her to hand it over to you.
Our office has instructed her to hand it over to you. Oh, please. You make it sound as if I'm turning over stolen goods. Behold, my discrepancy amplifier. Hold it in your hands. Feel the way it hums with ontological potential.
Interesante, supongo que este dispositivo recurre al cálculo determinístico.
You're rather sharp in your upper story. I can see why you're the inspector.
No, no lo soy.
The discrepancy amplifier uses a deterministic model of our universe to detect the discrepancy between what should be and what actually is. Then it renders any discrepancies visible by using the power of magnification.
That sounds strangely like scientism. Expecting the doctrine of the OSI to have any bearing on reality is quite an assumption.
Oh, goodness, no. I don't care for OSI doctrine. I just enjoy their math.
Entendido, gracias.
Go on then. Give it a try. Just treat the amplifier as you would a weapon. Hold it good and steady and look down scope.
I'm contractually prohibited from endorsing off-brand technology, but I'll bend that rule just this once.
Nadie se va a
You'll want to
enterar.
peer into the amplifier and examine the crime scene.
Ok. Dale. Mira.
This unit has detected a discrepancy related to Halcyon Helen. Unscheduled expiration of. Begin amplification.
Veo que estás equipado con un sistema de análisis modular. ¿Qué más sabes hacer?
The discrepancy amplifier has been programmed with advanced speech recognition, scientific analysis, and deterministic calculus protocols.
Oh, you'll love this. Amplifier, tell the inspector about your features.
Please do not interrupt the discrepancy amplifier. The discrepancy amplifier is programmed to take instruction from its registered or designated inspector.
How curious.
Le enseñaste muy
I
bien.
must have set its impertinence levels to flagrant.
This unit's features include an automated personality simulator. This unit has been programmed to simulate joy and satisfaction in assisting you.
Manos a la obra. Háblame de la discrepancia que has detectado.
This footprint stands out from the normally spotless floor of the grand ballroom. Typically, the ballroom is cleaned twice daily, which means this must have been made by either Helen or her assailant or assailants.
Estos son las pisadas de Cayetana, pero que tenía pie de campesina. Ampliador de discrepancias. ¿El tamaño de estas huellas coincide con algo de tus registros?
Footprint is a tailor-made 8.75, suggesting that its owner was very particular about their shoe size. It is also the exact size that Halcyon Helen typically prefers. There are traces of dirt throughout the footprint.
Sí. Veo restos de lilamora en esta tierra. Ampliador analiza.
Excellent observation, Inspector. The following compounds have been detected. Purpleberry residue, nitrogen-rich fertilizer, common grass. Grass, fertilizer, and purpleberries can all be found in the purpleberry orchards, located not far from the Gran Colonio.
Creo que ya pasé por ahí. Eso significa que Cayetana estuvo en los huertos antes de morir.
This deduction appears sound.
Good work, Inspector. I had a feeling we'd make some progress once we brought you onto the case. You'll need Administrator Ludovico to grant you access to the orchards. Contact him through the secure access terminal in your penthouse suite. Check in with the concierge. Your room should be ready by now. If it isn't, I may have to go shake someone by the collar.
En realidad no me necesitaban para esto. Ok. ¿Algo más? ¿A dónde va esto? Para arriba, la tiraron desde ahí. Que voy a tener que ir analizando en todas partes a ver si encuentro... bien. Bueno. Voy a registrarme.
You'd think these people have never seen a corpse before.
Black hole. We should try to solve the puzzle hedges.
Vos tenés algo incriminatorio. Hablemos.
The Grand Colonial Front Desk warmly welcomes you, Inspector. It's a pleasure to see you again. How may I be of assistance to you, Inspector?
Sin duda alguna, el Gran Colonial es interesante.
It certainly is a marvel of modern ingenuity, luxury, and ambition. Please, allow me to answer any curiosities you might have about our building and the amenities on offer.
¿Qué ofrece la suite del ático?
Twice the size of the next biggest room, and kitted out with any amenity you want, as well as many that you won't. Best to enjoy it while you can, Inspector. Typically, the only people who can afford the penthouse suite have enough bits to suffocate everyone on Terra 2. Also, please inform me if Woolridge gives you a hard time about getting a better room than his. Don't tell him I said this, but everyone on staff wants to strangle him.
¿Tiene algo de especial las plantas superiores?
Most certainly. All the important folks can be found in the utmost parts of the hotel. You can hardly walk 3 feet without bumping into a tossball grate or a bored exec. Though maybe don't bump into them. Could be harmful to your health.
Nadie parece dar demasiada importancia a las plantas inferiores del hotel.
Who would be interested in a staff-only area? Most folks never ask about the sewers beneath a Rizzo's plant, either.
No pretenderás que me crea que no hay nada de interés en toda una mitad del hotel.
Of interest to your investigation? Well, I suppose there is that one door we're not supposed to open. But I'm sorry, Inspector, I'm not authorized to grant you access to any staff sections of the hotel. You'll have to find a way in on your own.
Basta de hablar del hotel.
If you're sure.
Así que se aloja gente importante, ¿verdad? ¿Qué puede decirme de ellos?
My apologies, Inspector, but that would be a severe violation of guest privacy. We here at the Grand Colonial firmly believe that... All right, my supervisor just walked out of earshot. Some folks just don't understand the importance of gossip. About whom? And what would you wish to know?
¿Notaste algo en Cayetana del Sion antes de que muriera?
You know, out of everyone here, I probably knew the least about Helen. I'm not much of an Aetherwave watcher myself. And Helen always had a crowd of admirers chasing her, you see. So she rarely stopped to chat. Friendly enough, surely, but always seemed untouchable. Emphasis on seemed.
¿Alguna vez viste a Cayetana actuar de forma extraña?
Now that you mention it, she was usually calm and collected, but every so often I'd see her looking all wild-eyed and intense. It seemed as if she was determined about something. Or maybe she was just hungry. That woman ordered a lot of food. Maybe show business gives you a faster metabolism.
Drogas. He oído que Bertie Agujero Negro Holcomb se hospedaba aquí.
Ah, Bertie. Is he bigger than he is dumb, or dumber than he is big? I've a bet with a friend. Not sure we'll ever get it to pay out. Bertie used to be Helen's beau, though he isn't anymore, and not just because she's dead. If I had 1,000,000 bits, I'd spend every one just to learn what caused their split.
Hay una especie de gurú de la productividad aquí, ¿cierto? ¿De qué palo va?
Her deal? Not making them. I'd laugh at my own comment, but everyone knows there's no bigger joke than the prophet of profitability herself. Didn't you hear Helen's interview? That woman is the definition of humbuggery. Anyone who gives her the time of day is a right fool. I mean, Spencer Woolridge has taken several of her productivity seminars, and look where it got him. Don't waste your time.
El actor que trabajaba con Cayetana, Spencer Woolridge, ¿tiene algún motivo para quererla muerta?
If looks could kill, he'd have put her in the ground 10 times over. Man's clearly jealous of her success compared to his. See, I'd bet we're the only 2 people thinking about him in all of Eridanos. And I only am because you mentioned his name. If you leave woolly cow milk out, it turns to curds. Leave the curds out, they begin to get stale, then rot. Woolridge is on his way to the trash bin, and everyone knows it. Either he's in denial, or he knew Helen would be checking out soon, judging by his increasing demands for a room upgrade.
Basta de cotilleos por ahora.
That's a shame, Inspector. What if I wanted to know a little about you?
Soy capitán por cuenta propia. Estoy cambiando la colonia, encuentro trascendental a encuentro trascendental.
A dashing gunslinger type, then. I'm sure the investigation will turn out splendidly in your hands. Or at least Mr. Kincannon seems confident enough to believe so.
Quería saber si ya está lista mi habitación.
Ah, yes. We are most pleased to offer you our grandest of grand accommodations, Inspector. The penthouse suite on our topmost floor is now available for you. The last guest left her belongings behind when she vacated unexpectedly, so we needed a little time to tidy the suite up for you. Simply call the elevator in the lobby and our highly skilled operator will deliver you to your private floor with efficiency and cheer.
Mucha alegría. Adiós. ¿Dónde? Norville. Llévame ahí, Norville. Ahora tengo puntos. Ahora sí, vamos.
Hello there, my inordinately... Oh, you're the one who visited me. Hello again. Thanks so much for brightening my day. What authorized floor can I bring you to?
Me gustaría visitar la planta VIP.
Oh, so sorry, but you're not actually authorized to visit that floor.
Pero soy inspector. Llévame a la suite del ático.
Next stop, the finest seat in the house.
Inspector, sí. Parvati. ¿Qué mierda es acá? ¿Qué es acá?
Everything's so soft and silky and expensive. Oh gosh, I hope I don't get any grease stains on the
¿Tienes algo encima? Sam.
Sam's Special Inspector add-on includes a magnifying glass to sleuth out the germs and parasites that other cleaning
¿Qué
products
sirven
leave
acá?
behind.
Vinieron todos.
You love all the wall space. So much room for trophies.
I call the big bed.
Bueno, a ver qué hay en la habitación. Oh la la. Oh la la, mon ami. Mirá todo lo que tenemos acá. ¿Qué dice esto? Este tablón está cubierto de fotos y papeles. Mirarlo más de cerca. Hay un cuaderno sin usar abierto junto a un montón de papeles en blanco. Quien quiera que fuera a escribir en él, al final no lo hizo. Me voy. Acá voy poniendo las pistas. Cosas que hacen los inspectores. Y lo sabría si fuera inspector, pero no lo soy.
Inspector, I understand you've visited the scene of the crime. Halcyon Helen was an important cultural icon. She will be sorely missed.
Querrás decir Ruth Bellamy. Cayetana del Sion solo era un personaje.
Halcyon Helen was more than a character. She was a brand. Her death will now be associated with Rizzo's Spectrum Brown. You understand why that worries me.
Toda publicidad es buena.
I wish I had your blithe sense of optimism. Helen's death means delays. Delays mean expenses. Expenses mean audits. Audits mean people like me lose our jobs. Back to the matter at hand. Tell me about your investigation.
Tengo una pista. Necesito acceder a los huertos, pero no puedo decirte por qué.
Your discretion is appreciated. I admit, I'm beginning to feel more confident in this arrangement. Here, I'm granting you access through the gates to the orchards. You're officially authorized to see this investigation through to the end. There is one caveat. Cedric's being rather intransigent about letting you into the spaceport. Possibly he's trying to hide something. Possibly he wants to annoy me. Possibly both.
¿Tus subalternos se te suben a la chepa, Ludovico?
Cedric isn't my people. If he were, I would have had him fired years ago. Preferably into the sun. You have a lead to chase. Law speed, Inspector.
Volveré. Bueno. Algo más acá. Acá hay algo. Analizando. ¿Qué mierda? ¿Qué dijiste? Mierda, toqué muy rápido el botón. Bueno. Nos quedamos sin pista. Que mantuve apretado el estúpido botón X.